fools were disgraced. The intelligent get honor. What if I told you that you already had ancient information woven into your own being, in addition to wisdom? The world refers to it as intuition, while others call it intelligence. As the chosen one, you exist differently than others. When they see you, they wonder how they know things they weren't taught. How can you forecast events before they occur? This is a fact. According to research, persons with high intellect usually feel alienated, not because they don't belong, but because they can see things that others can't. When you combine intelligence with wisdom, you become somebody even more unique. Someone who not only understands, but also decodes the world. It could be entertaining to see someone try to explain something you figured out 10 steps before. Let's be honest, they think they have you on something, but all you can do is nod and think, "Oh, sweet child, I knew this before you even realized it was a question." Therefore, it is not a delusion. If you've ever felt that your mind operates on a frequency that others can't hear, it's a vocation. Not only are you clever, but you also have insight that can shake foundations. And we'll find out exactly why people all throughout the globe admire and fear minds like yours. Hold on tightly. First and foremost, you are an old intellect in a new era, rather than just smart. While some people acquire knowledge via study, others get it through experience. Others, like you, understand that you won't be able to fully convey it. You don't have to go through a scenario to understand it fully. The solutions are already there in your thoughts, waiting for the right moment to emerge. You do not need someone to explain things to you. People pay attention. How did you figure things out so fast? Big question when there weren't any lines to begin with. How do you discern between them? They assume you spend hours analyzing things, but you really understand them quickly. Your mind seems to be wired differently, as if it had access to information outside of your age range, beyond reasoning. This extends beyond intellect. It is feasible to measure, train, and improve intellect. What you have is something much more unusual, an intrinsic awareness, the ability to comprehend the invisible, a mind that forms connections that others are unaware of. This has always existed. This is not a learned habit. You most certainly felt older than your actual age. Perhaps even as a small kid, you comprehended concepts that other youngsters found difficult. You may have puzzled why adults did not notice things that were so obvious to you. People aren't always sure how to respond to this sort of thinking. Others find it unpleasant, some find it commendable, and others pretend it does not exist since it violates their established assumptions. They recognize, however, that you are unique in ways that cannot be explained by education, experience, or good fortune. That is what makes you distinct. You carry your knowledge. It's not something you desire. It is constantly available, ready to be used or grasped. It's a part of you that can't be ignored, whether or not the world is ready for it. The second is that you interpret the world as if it were a hidden language. You do not live in a random universe. You see connections where others perceive coincidences. You hear meaning, whereas others hear words. You've always had a unique perspective on the world. Nothing is as it appears in discussions, events, or even the smallest details. Most people overlook the deeper layer, the hidden message, and the pattern. You can tell straight away when someone is hesitating, when their body language changes, or when anything is going a little too smoothly or strangely. It's instinctual, and you catch it all without even trying before other people realize there is anything to note. You don't need to spend time studying what's going on since your mind has already absorbed it. It is typical for individuals to have inappropriate thoughts. They are puzzled by it. How did you expect that outcome? What about in the lack of proof? How did you know the truth? Why do you always seem to be one step ahead? You see what is genuinely there, but others cannot, and they are unaware that you are not guessing. This might be irritating since they don't see what you're doing. They refuse to listen when you see them in circumstances that you know will go wrong. They believe their own lies. But you can hear the truth behind what they say. They believe they're playing you. But you can tell when someone is concealing something. Knowing how the world communicates to those who can listen is more essential than possessing psychic talents. It may be detected in the energy, patterns, and small shifts in people and situations. You decipher the world, not just travel through it, whether they realize it or not. It's why people believe you. Why do people seek your advice and believe you know something they don't? Because you do and have always done so. Number 3, your silence is a technique, not a display of strength. When you keep quiet, people assume you have nothing to say. They are unaware that your silence is a deliberate choice rather than a lack of communication. You see, before the discussion gets to that stage, you already know where it is going. You are aware of what has been said and acknowledged. You can sense when someone is trying to manipulate you, is insecure, or is merely speaking to fill a gap. You take in. All of this is being mentioned, not only what's being said. That's why you don't speak so rapidly. You enable people to be themselves. They always do. If given enough time, people will expose their true intentions, insecurities, and concerns. Although they are merely supplying you with extra information, they will feel in command of the conversation. The more they speak, the more they exhibit. And you're quietly learning what you need to know while they're busy demonstrating it. This is misinterpreted for passivity. They feel you are fearful, indifferent, or disengaged. However, they are ignorant that stillness is observation rather than submission. It is a calculation. It is enabling people to express themselves authentically without forcing you to do anything. And it's never a waste to utter at last. You only express what has to be stated, nothing more or less. This gives your remarks credibility. You strike when it matters, rather than drowning out conversations with unnecessary noise. Some people find this frightening. They are concerned because they do not know what you were thinking. They are used to individuals replying swiftly, casually expressing their ideas, and blurting things out. However, you do not back down when you decide to speak. You've already won by allowing silence to work for you. Number 4, you defy logic rather than obeying it. The bulk of people just do what they believe is doable. Their mental processes are straightforward, their formulas predictable, and they seldom question the rules. You do not. Who determined that this was the only way? When you look at the same rules that others view as barriers, you see doors and holes, while others see challenges. Most people see logic as a rigorous structure. You perceive it as clay that must be molded, reshaped, and reshaped. This explains why you seem to possess practically superhuman problem-solving abilities. You question why the box is there in the first place. Instead of just thinking creatively, you tackle challenges in ways that others cannot understand. Well, you notice several choices, unconventional solutions, and hidden tunnels. They are stuck in either or thinking. There's a basic difference in how your mind interacts with reality, not just intelligence. When things come out the way they never expected, people tend to think you're lucky. But it is not luck. Rather, it is the ability to shift perspectives and bend logic until the apparently impossible becomes obvious. You are aware that illusions are often the most significant hurdles. Only those who accept limitations are aware of them. Others may be concerned with this. Some despise it, while others enjoy it. People find it difficult to understand how you always seem to be one step ahead of them, how you anticipate problems and devise solutions that they would never have considered. It looks to them to be magical. It's exactly how your mind works for you. The difference is that most people try to follow the logic of the world. You customize it to meet your requirements. Number 5, it seems like destiny is moving while you're present. You've probably noticed a difference in energy when you come into a room. People stare at you for no apparent reason for a short time. Conversations pause as if the air recognizes you. It's about a deeper, unseen power that individuals feel but can't describe. It's not about looks, celebrity, or position. Your magnetism is distinct from that of those who are charismatic or possess strong social skills. Who you are is more important than what you say? Or do you have a unique characteristic that grabs attention? They see you as a presence rather than just another face in the throng, and this presence is crucial. People gravitate toward you for this reason, sometimes to the point of obsession. Some people adore you but don't fully understand why. Others seem uneasy, even frightened, as if your very presence bothers them. Your energy is dynamic, which is why it inspires rather than just fading into the background. It alters the dynamics. People pay attention to you. Strangers may open up to you in casual circumstances, offering secrets and thoughts that they would not otherwise disclose. Alternatively, some individuals become preoccupied with gaining your recognition, approval, and attention. Impact is more essential than conceit. It simply happens. You do not have to struggle. Furthermore, this is about events rather than individual persons. When you become engaged, things normally work out differently. There are opportunities. Tensions grow or decrease. Unexpected events occur when you enter a room. It seems like reality is always changing. This is known as destiny. Some call it an aura. It's known as divine alignment, whatever that means. One thing is certain, things change while you're there. Number 6, you read the lies behind the lies, not just the falsehoods. You only notice when lies are plainly evident. When someone falters, avoids icons, acts, or gives an explanation that does not quite fit, do most people notice them? Those signals are unnecessary. You observe dishonesty before it has fully evolved. Not simply the lie, but the motive behind it. You decipher dishonesty, not just sense it. Individuals assume they are misleading you, but they are unaware that you have exposed them before they ever speak. You see differences in energy, purpose, and behavior, as well as in words, that others do not. You understand that every lie has a reason, and the reason is often more revealing than the lie itself. Because of this, you seldom react when someone tries to deceive you. You know where their story is headed, so there's no need to call them out. Instead, you observe. You let them talk. You give them the sense that they are in command by revealing themselves more. The longer they continue to deceive you, the more unpredictable you become. As a consequence, people find it disconcerting when they are unable to understand your ideas. You do not provide them with the confrontation they are expecting. You are 5 steps ahead of them. However, they presuppose gullibility. You let them hang themselves with their own news, even if they want to dominate the narrative. This is unsettling for some. They often realize too late that they were never the ones being duped. You were only waiting for the truth to come out, as it usually does. And when that moment arrives, the silence is sufficient. You don't even have to say, "I told you so." Number 7, you're inexplicable. You are not intelligent. People prefer categorizing things because it provides a feeling of security. They classify these bright individuals as brilliant, creative, streetwise, logical, or bookwise. However, such designations do not apply when they meet you. You have access to something which cannot be articulated. You don't just have knowledge without training. You can grasp ideas. You provide solutions that no one else has considered. You possess a precognitive sense. It's not just intellect. It is something more deep, something that cannot be defined or explained using credentials. People find it challenging to understand you. As a result, you do not qualify for the term intellect. People may try but fail to understand your way of thinking, which may be unpleasant. They assume you have done much research and analysis. They fail to realize that understanding does not always come from studying. Sometimes it happens instantaneously, as if the knowledge was waiting for you to see it. As a result, people cannot predict your next move. You do not think like them, even if they do. They try to forecast your decisions, but your mind constructs its own logic instead of following theirs. As a consequence, you are unintelligible to them, unstoppable, and unreadable. You've undoubtedly noticed that although some people like something about you, others find it disturbing since they don't understand you. Some individuals want to put you down, while others want to learn from you. The irony is that you never attempted to be enigmatic. You never made an attempt to stand out. You just are. That is what makes you inexplicable, not just to others, but sometimes even to yourself. Number 8. Without speaking, you push them to confront themselves. People feel nervous around you for whatever reason, not because of anything you do on purpose, but because of what you represent. They are unable to hide themselves from you. They convey the idea that you can see straight through their carefully prepared public image, masks, and phrases. They feel as if they are being seen in an unfamiliar way, not because you are judging them. Many people find this disturbing. Some people respect this feature in you. They are attracted to you because they desire your excitement, knowledge, and ability to spot things they have overlooked for years. They reveal secrets and worries that they had never spoken to you, and they do so without understanding why. They seem to believe that you already know, and in some ways you do. You may detect unspoken anguish, unresolved sentiments, and contradictions between someone's words and their genuine feelings. Not everyone, however, is ready for that degree of insight without realizing it. Some people are terrified of you while you are with them. They get defensive and irritated for no obvious cause. They may even develop hate against you without realizing why. It's not intimate. It reflects their own internal turmoil. You force them to confront elements of themselves that they would rather ignore, the truths they have concealed behind years of self-deception. This explains why people either shun you or have a high esteem for you. There is no middle ground for you. The insights you share push others to examine their own realities. In reality, not everyone is ready to confront themselves. Number 9, power finds you, even if you don't seek it out. Some individuals have spent their whole lives seeking for power, going to whatever extent to progress in society, gain influence, and establish supremacy. Your particular strength always seems to find you, even when you don't actively pursue it. You attract leaders, visionaries, creatives, and intellectuals because you possess qualities that they lack, not because you demand their attention. You grasp things more deeply than others. You can see the patterns that predict success and failure, the underlying currents of human nature, and the unseen forces that shape events. You understand the core mechanics of influence, including how energy, purpose, and unseen forces alter the visible world, while others focus on external techniques and manipulations. Powerful individuals often want to hear your point of view. They seek your counsel or just want to spend time with you. Some people appreciate and respect your wisdom. Others have noticed that being in your orbit makes them better, sharper, and more awake. But they don't fully understand why they're drawn to you. As a result, you regularly find yourself in prominent positions without intending to be. Even if you don't want authority, people naturally turn to you for advice. People automatically follow your instructions, even if you don't need to push it. It has nothing to do with control or dominance. It is about comprehending. You have an edge over folks who just think on the surface level because you can see the big picture. Pursuing control does not lead to actual power. It ultimately boils down to alignment, or being conscious of forces greater than oneself. As a result, power is drawn to you. Number 10, absorb, not just learn. Most individuals learn primarily via memorization. They study, read, and repeat information until it is embedded in their thoughts. For you, however, knowledge is something you develop rather than something you acquire when you encounter new ideas. They become more than just facts in your mind. They become a part of your identity, influencing how you think, perceive, and navigate the world. You seldom forget what is actually essential. Like a result, you absorb information rather than retaining it, like most people do. When you gain information, it transforms your thinking rather than just existing in it. You accept knowledge rather than just memorize it. You are not like other people who collect knowledge like trophies. Because of this, despite their impressive resume, degrees, and qualifications, their understanding is restricted. They are aware of things, but not particularly acquainted with them. In contrast, you use what you've learned to gain knowledge. You can utilize it without relying on rote memorization. It comes easily to you. As a result, many people are surprised by your degree of expertise. You may have a solid comprehension of something even if you haven't studied it thoroughly. You comprehend things faster than others, not because you've studied them for years, but because they make sense to you in a way that is difficult to explain. It seems that you just needed to recognize the wisdom that was waiting for you, which is the difference between absorbing and learning. One concentrates on obtaining facts, while the other aspires to be something greater. You unwittingly disrupt people's reality. The bulk of individuals function inside the conceptual framework imposed on them by their experiences, family, and society. They develop their perspectives, identities, and beliefs inside a familiar and safe framework. Then they collide with you, and the structure starts to crumble. Although you make no attempt to change people's opinions, your very existence contradicts them. People's preconceived beliefs are challenged by your views, perspective, and the reality you convey. You provide perspectives that others have never considered. You bring out flaws in their thinking not because you are arrogant, but simply because you have a different viewpoint. This is liberating for some. They are enthusiastic, stimulated, and eager to learn more and explore new ideas. They notice a difference in themselves, as if a long repressed yearning has been reawakened, even if they don't completely grasp what's going on. They are aware that being around you affects them. However, not everyone is ready for such a transformation. Some people behave aggressively or defensively because it threatens the security of their carefully formed worldview. They oppose what you stand for. They reject you. Instead of questioning their own viewpoints, they seek to disparage you, mock you, or distance themselves from you. Not because you are incorrect, but because they are afraid of what would happen if you were accurate. People either grow in your company or leave you for this reason. You do not allow illusions to endure. You do not adapt to fictional realities only to suit others. One thing is certain: whether they embrace it or reject it, once they meet you, they will be unable to conceal what you have shown them. A number. You are a model for the future, not a rebel. People generally assume you are a renegade, someone who questions authority, violates tradition, and disrupts the status quo. However, it is not the complete picture. Rebellion is not the reason you are fighting the system. You're neither impulsive nor chaotic. In reality, you are building something new. You see the flaws in the present systems because you realize they are out of date, not because you dislike them. Things are not questioned only for the purpose of confronting them. Rather, you foresee a better future for which others are not yet prepared. You challenge them. Your views, ideas, and plan changes are not random acts of disobedience. These are blueprints. They provide suggestions about what could happen next. As a result, individuals commonly misunderstand your words. The world continues to lag behind your vision. Every great shift in history was first seen as a threat, until time proved them right. Innovators, artists, and deep thinkers were labeled as radicals, troublemakers, or dreamers. Someday, you will be a member of their family. What seems strange to others now will become evident. People are not prepared to see what you see, therefore you face resistance rather than being incorrect. Some people appreciate you for this. They recognize that you are ahead of the curve and that you can see beyond borders, even if they may not entirely grasp your viewpoints. They are still fascinated by them. However, some people react with terror. They label you as difficult, unrealistic, or rebellious because they hold on to what they know. However, you are not trying to damage anything. You are preparing the basis for the future. This causes you to regularly feel out of place. You are still not totally in tune with the modern world. So what about the future? The future will look like what you've always predicted. Much more. A number. People want your approval even when you don't need it. You don't always need permission to do what you do since your worth isn't determined by how others see you. You do not want their favor. You are aware of who you are, even if others do not recognize it. People vie for your attention because you trust your own judgment. You are not purposefully refusing to provide your approval. It's because it genuinely means something when you give it. People may warn you not to take your approval lightly. They understand that you are unimpressed by flimsy displays of confidence, social position, or superficial achievements. When you see somebody's potential, it's because you really think they have something to contribute. As a result, your appreciation is exceedingly valuable, unique, and rewarding. This is why, sometimes without realizing it, individuals try to prove themselves to you in order to acquire your respect. They modify their words, emphasize their successes, or downplay their anxieties. They understand deep down that your approval differs from the reinforcement they get from others. Thus, it is an unconscious response. It's not a performance. It is not provided out of courtesy. It carries real weight. Strangely, people want your approval because you don't want it. They are used to people who are always attempting to garner attention, giving worthless praise, and manipulating others' acceptance for their own gain. That is not what you do. Your presence is more powerful because you are not needy. Others like your confident manner and desire to be like you. This does not indicate that you dislike or reject appreciation from others. In contrast, providing support or gratitude is extremely important. It has nothing to do with domination or superiority. People can tell the difference, and it is all about authenticity.